left Bella Vista in high spirits, excited about our trip. We stopped at the Cracker Barrel for breakfast. This group doesn't go anywhere on an empty stomach. We arrived at the old mill in North Little Rock. It was never a working mill and was used as a set in Gone with the Wind. We thoroughly explored the grounds and thoroughly enjoyed it. I was the only one gutsy enough to climb the bridge. There were some pretty good views from up there. And I got a close-up look at some of the faux bois railings. Every wooden thing in this park around Ploog's Mill is actually fake wood, made of cement by a secretive Mexican artist. We enjoyed the sound of splashing water from the fountain and the mill wheel, and went inside to explore.
We'd love to go around the room.
The faux bois wood was everywhere, and it was beautiful. It was too bad we had missed the azaleas in bloom, but there were still other flowers and some live critters to enjoy. It was a lovely, peaceful spot, and we were glad we'd gone to see it. Our intrepid driver, Kathy, took us on to the Arkansas Arts Center. There were several interesting shows which we toured. drove into the historic section of Little Rock, where we saw some really neat houses being refurbished and others that were already in great shape. House with the German schmear technique we'd seen on Fixer Upper caught our interest. We stopped and talked to the guy who owned it. It was actually an insurance company, and part of the building was old and part was new. We ended up at the governor's mansion. There were guys guarding the gate, but they said it was okay to take a picture. We drove through the downtown area and got out and walked a bit. Unfortunately, a little birdie decided to poo on my head, but Marilyn fixed it. We ended up in a very retro restaurant. It was like a flashback to the 60s. We had fried green tomatoes. We sat by a window and enjoyed the view of the street. The next morning, we had breakfast at our hotel and then headed for Moss Mountain Farm.
Hi, I'm Alan Smith, and this is Moss Mountain Farm. I designed this place to combine the spirit of a classic American farmstead like Thomas Jefferson's Monticello and George Washington's Mount Vernon, with, of course, many of the current innovations in earth-friendly and sustainable living. Moss Mountain Farm is my home, but it also serves as a set for my television shows, a teaching facility for testing new plant varieties and homesteading techniques, as well as a place for visitors to experience the beauty of the gardens and surrounding landscape. I designed this place around the garden home concept, where blurring the lines between inside and out creates a real connection with nature. On your visit, you're invited to tour many of the garden rooms I've created here at the farm. My home is open for you to explore. The interior design reflects the spirit of the garden, furnished with a blend of antique and modern pieces. Of course, no farm is complete without the pitter-patter of paws, claws, and hooves to make it all complete. And you'll see more than your fair share on your visit. Believe me, we won't let you leave without a scratch behind the ears. During your visit, you'll be treated to a delicious meal from my cookbook, Seasonal Recipes from the Garden. I'm sure that you'll find your visit here at Moss Mountain Farm as enjoyable as I enjoy sharing it.
After checking in, we checked out the gift shop. We spotted Alan across the lawn with some ladies from Sun Patient. This giant post oak is what sold Alan on the property. It and several others on the property were awesome. Alan has a lot of different vendors. He also has a lot of irons in the fire between his TV shows and all the other things he does. We wandered around the house a bit before being divided into two groups. One group was going to tour the garden and the other group the house. Then we'd switch. We chose to tour the garden before it got too hot. It was a long walk on a sort of a gravel driveway. It was pretty taxing, but it was worth it. Alan likes to put flowers in with his vegetables. For me, the absolute star of the entire tour were the pink hydrangeas, huge pots overflowing with them, all the way down a walkway to another lovely area. We could see the Arkansas River. I couldn't stop taking pictures of those pink hydrangeas. We headed back to the house past a pond that is used for watering all the vegetation. We passed a fancy little chicken house with some fancy little chickens. Our guide told us that Alan has only 3 full-time gardeners to maintain this entire property. All of Alan's garden structures are huge, which is fitting for the size of the property. There was an herb drying house. Behind the house was heavily planted with flowers. I especially enjoyed seeing Miss Big Fig, who has been featured on Alan's show several times. There was a big area for a bonfire that must have been a fun place. These 2 tours dwarfed anything I've ever had in my garden. There was an outdoor kitchen and a building that had another kitchen that I'm sure was used for fixing our lunch. On the other side of an open area was another building that housed Alan's art studio. Then we went back to the front of the house so that we could enter for the tour. I've never been on a house tour before where they just turned you loose. There were people around to tell you about different things, but basically you could just go anywhere you wanted and look at anything you wanted. The only room that was roped off was Alan's bedroom, as it should have been. Each room is tastefully and artfully appointed. Every piece of furniture and art exudes approachable luxury. Classic, curated, and yet so comfortable. The kitchen was full of fun little touches. There were cookies for those who wanted some. There was a lovely porch with views of the Arkansas River. The house is fairly new and was built during one season of Alan's TV show, but it's built to look older. It's very successfully done. Upstairs was a really fun area that Alan had created for his nieces and nephews. Alan's bedroom was visible but roped off. There was a neat library area just outside it. On this level, there was a sleeping porch that was screened in. At the far end was an amazing copper tub. The views of the river were even better upstairs. We left the house and walked past the hill where thousands of daffodils are planted. Next, we toured the house that Alan built for $150,000 in 150 days. It was featured on his TV show. Well, actually, he went a tiny bit over budget, but not much. He used many recycled materials in very creative ways. Marilyn went on to the chicken palace. The rest of us were kind of tired, so we headed back to the main house. They had planned planned to serve our lunch in an outside area, but because of the heat, we ate inside the barn. The meal was healthy and delicious, and pretty, with edible flowers on the plate. There were clever arrangements of fresh flowers all down the tables. Alan ate at a table near us with the vendors from Sun Patience. It had cooled off a little after lunch, so we went to the outside area for a little talk by Alan with questions and answers. We were fortunate he was there that day because not every tour gets this personal touch.
You grow Meyer lemons? Yes, you should immediately. They're delicious. You know, they're such a tender-skinned lemon. Very different than the green lemon.
We left Moss Mountain Farm very happy with our tour. It had been well worth the fairly expensive price. We headed on home to our beautiful Bella Vista.